until after the damage happens, and then it special summons. Jesus. What is up, everybody? It is your boy Herf here, back on the Duel Entertainment channel, and today I got the top 5 techs for March. And guys, I think this is the first time we have more extra deck than main deck cards in the top 5 techs. Absolutely insane. So let's get to the main deck cards, and then we can kind of talk about why are there so many extra deck techs in the game right now. So my two main deck cards for us here. DD Crow. This card is absolutely phenomenal right now. I think that is one of the most underrated hand traps in the game at the moment, because honestly, it's really good against Blue Eyes. You just keep banishing their stones. If they try to Azure Eyes, you can just banish the Blue Eyes out of the graveyard that they try to summon. All these kinds of things like that helps mitigate the card advantage that Blue Eyes creates, that they're so good at creating. And overall, I think that... also, that's just the Blue Eyes matchup. Also, Dark Lords and Water are both extremely good in this meta right now. And Fire Kings are in the meta as well. DD Crow absolutely destroys every single one of those decks. Okay, so Dark Lords. When they go to copy or summon anything from the graveyard, you just Crow. Just Crow. Just Crow forehead. It's really that easy. You just Crow it out of the graveyard, and then it's gone. They get destroyed. And then you play against something like Water. When they try to pop you with infantry, you just because the infantry is a cost for the Dweller, Dweller's effect needs to resolve in order for the infantry to get a chance to activate. So if you chain Crow in response to the Dweller, the infantry isn't in the graveyard when it would activate, if that makes sense. So the way it would go is Dweller activates by detaching infantry to the graveyard. You Crow the infantry in response. Now all that happens is that the graveyard gets negated for the rest of the turn. There is no pop. So that's a really important mechanic as to why DD Crow is so good, and I think it's not being used to its fullest potential. The second card is Battle in Box Veil, which is absolutely insane right now. Every deck that needs a 3 limit is playing it. Every deck that doesn't need a 3 limit is playing it. It's absolutely insane. Well, not every deck, but basically any deck that is afraid of getting OTK'd is playing this card, because what happens is your opponent swings in, does damage, and then you just put it on the field and you gain the life equal to the damage that you took. And then so you stop that attack, and then you gain the life back, so it's like that attack never even happens. So you take one attack, get that life back. You have another body on the field to block another attack, and then you're still at the life that you had before, so you can take another attack. So really, this stops 3 attacks, which is why it's so good in every Destiny Draw deck, because Lunalights and Fire Kings both thrive off of having Destiny Draw, and you cannot read any form of delay with this card until it's too late. So after you've already procced Destiny Draw, do you realize that they have a Veil in hand, which is why this card is so degenerate. Now, the next card, number C39 Utopia Ray. So why is this card so good? Literally any deck that can make rank 4s is playing this card. Because what is the let's think about what the downside is for playing this card. Nothing. The only downside is that there are it takes up 2 extra deck slots, because you need to play this and you need to play the regular Utopia. Because what happens is you summon regular Utopia, and then if your life points are at 1,000 or below, you literally just put Utopia Ray on top of it. And then this is a non-targeting out for Blue Eyes. So if you're playing like Fire Kings or any deck that can really make level 4, so like Fire Kings or Dark Lords are the 2 main decks that are playing Utopia and Utopia Ray, because they can reduce their life points. Fire Kings actually play a lot of hand traps to help control where their life points are at, and Fire Kings Dark Lords literally just pay life points to get down there if they need to. And then they don't need to target. They don't need to do anything. They just reduce you down to 0. This guy gets up to 4,000 attack, swing for game, doesn't target, doesn't do anything like that. Easy peasy. Like this combo is absolutely so degenerate. It's insane. Next card, Malevolent Sin. This card, since its release, has been slowly increasing in play, and pretty much every single extra deck that can make a rank 4 now is playing it just because it's such good removal. Like, it's just banish a card. And granted, it comes back in the end phase, but we have so few interactions. And we talked about this when I said that Karma Cut should get nerfed. We have so few interactions that protect from banishing that anything that banishes, even for a turn, allows you to push for games so effectively that it deserves a spot on this list. So that is one huge benefit from Malevolent Sin. So any level 4, any deck that can make a level 4. So we're talking about like Lunalights, Dark Lords, and Fire Kings again are the 3 main decks making level 4 synchro or Xyz that are not water. Obviously water can make rank 4 Xyz, but their skill only permits them to play waters. So we're going to save this, and then I'm going to show you guys, because I don't actually own this card because the box was kind of doo-doo, and I've been kind of chipping away at it when I wanted to. I don't really know. But this is a really important tech card for both Thunders and Automats. It's really helped their Blue Eyes, both of the decks Blue Eyes matchup, and it is Fairy Knight Ingwenar. Or Ingwenar? I'm not sure how anybody pronounces it, but basically it requires 3 level 6 monsters. Once per turn, you can detach 2 Xyz materials from this card. Return all other cards on the field to the hand. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation. So that's kind of insane, right? So if your opponent has their full Blue Eyes field set up, right? Let's say they see anything coming, then they tag out into Azure Eyes. So Automats used to really run into a brick wall whenever Azure Eyes came onto the field because they can't target, and pretty much all of the Xyz in the game target. Well, they released Ingwenar, which is just 3 level 6 monsters. So they're playing Dodo Buster, and then they have Sister and Coat. So what you do is you get Dodo Buster into the graveyard, you normal summon Sister, you special summon Coat, you use Coat's effect to special summon the Dodo Buster from the grave, then you use Sister's effect to copy or to target the Coat and itself to make those 2 to level 6. So then you have 3 level 6s, and remember, Sister, when a special summon, can search a card from hand. That means you could have searched a Wind. So then you Xyz into this, you summon, or you bounce their entire board back because it's non-targeting, non-destruction removal. So you just bounce everything back to the hand, and then your opponent's field is empty. They just cry, and then you kill them. It's absolutely insane. And then the same thing for Thunders, right? So the whole Lupine plus Dark or Roar combo, you would at one point have Lupine plus 2 level 6s on the field. Well, now you can just, when you search your Hawk, you can level dupe the Lupine with a level 6, and then just go straight into Ingwenar, and then use that Hawk to summon a Roar, and then you have game. Like, it just allows you to push through the Blue Eyes board so much more effectively than you were able to before. And it really puts so much more pressure on Blue Eyes to activate all of their back row early. And plus, if you look at the stats, even if they flip this down, this is still 3,000 defense, right? They can't get over this unless they have Twin Burst to banish it, or if they have something like Treacherous Trap Hole, or they have alternative in next turn. So it significantly slows down the Blue Eyes plays. Like, you can't just book it and swing over. Like, you can't just Unga Boonga. You have to deal with it, and that's why it's so good. And I think that this card is going to be a very important Xyz going forwards, just for this reason, just because it's such a big threat, because you need to deal with it immediately when it hits the field. Because if you try to save that Fiendish Chain, if you try to do any of those other things, you can't activate anything in response. So if I activate Ingwenar, and then you try to Fiendish, you can't Fiendish Chain, you just get bounced. So overall, that's why I think this deck is or this, not this deck, but this card is so powerful and deserves a spot in the tech cards. It's being played in Onomats and Thunders. But with that, guys, I think I'm going to head on out of here. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when we upload. And then make sure you check out the Twitch and the Discord, which are both free, by the way. They're free. Why not get in there? Just saying. And then make sure you get that free new player help in the Discord. Make sure you watch the tournaments, which are free, practically new every single day. They're amazing. Get in there. Awesome. I'll see you there. Bye.